everyone, it's Chelsea Butler with KBB, and on today's From the Tap podcast, I'm speaking to Liza Hausman, Vice President of Industry Marketing at Houzz, about what homeowners want from the industry professionals they hire. Welcome, Liza, and thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me, Chelsea.
So I know Houzz recently conducted some research on this topic that also includes the most important deciding factors when hiring a pro and how industry professionals can adapt and promote their services to meet these needs. So with that said, can you tell me a little bit about that research?
Absolutely. So first, let me give you a little context for why we wanted to do the research. The mission of Houzz from day one has always been to improve the design and renovation experience for both homeowners and professionals and really improve the process. So we're sort of at this unique intersection of both pros and homeowners. And so we have this ability to, do research on both sides and be able to provide better insights to pros. We do a fair amount of research. A lot of folks are familiar, I'm sure you are, with the kitchen and bath trends research that we do. We do a barometer that tracks, residential renovation market expectations among pros. And really the goal is to empower our pros. And it's the same reason that, a few years ago, we decided to provide project management software to our pro community, right? It's all in pursuit of that mission to make the process better for everybody involved and a lot less painful. So we conducted a survey for this particular research. The goal really was, not just looking at one part of the process, but really end to end, what do homeowners go through? What does that process look like and feel like for them? And where, what choices are they making and where could it be improved? So we surveyed 900 homeowners on Houzz who were planning in the middle of or who had completed a renovation within the past 2 years. And we found that they really care about some surprising things. And still, despite best efforts, are often disappointed or frustrated with several aspects of finding and then working with the pros that they hire.
Okay, so curious, what are some of those surprising things that homeowners care about during their renovations?
Yeah, I think, let's start with when they're thinking about hiring a pro. One of the things that we found is that, and it probably won't be surprising to folks out there who are used to doing a lot of research and shopping online. Online credibility really is a significant factor in homeowners' hiring decisions. So we found that, homeowners said that not only does a pro's online presence, but their ability to offer like remote collaboration tools and being able to work online. So kind of the online piece, I think was an interesting finding. And then another one that was super surprising was that even among homeowners who get a word of mouth referral. So even homeowners who found their pro from a friend or a family member or somebody who recommended that pro directly, more than half, 62%, said they do additional online research before deciding to reach out to that pro. So it's not enough just to get the word of mouth referral. They're still going to do a little bit of digging online and a little bit of research before they decide that it makes sense. So that's a couple of the surprising findings.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the whole virtual aspect of things, I know that became very popular during the pandemic in terms of being able to see and meet with clients and things like that. But I feel like that's going to be something, pandemic or not, that is going to be popular for clients to be able to use.
I agree, right? It's such a huge convenience factor, especially for busy clients, busy pros. Sometimes you need to have that conversation, have a bit of a face-to-face, but not necessarily do it in person.
Yeah. So what are the most important factors to consumers when deciding on hiring a pro?
Sure. Well, in addition to those referrals from friends and family, the ability to view examples of projects with a similar scope and style were also important. So, having those photos of finished projects that show the type of projects that you do, and also the ability to view online reviews. So those were two other big factors. The other thing that we found that these homeowners really value are communication, responsiveness, and clarity. So, even during that kind of initial contact phase or initial discussion phase, homeowners are looking at communication and organization skills, whether pricing is easy to understand, how fast they got a proposal or an estimate. Those were other things that went into their decision making, and you can kind of think of it as part of that first impression, that you make when you meet someone or you start to work with somebody. If you think about those initial interactions as the honeymoon period, right? This is the best it's going to get on the project, and this is everybody putting their best foot forward. Homeowners are looking at that time and saying, all right, this is going to be representative of what it's probably going to be like to work with this professional going forward. So they're evaluating all of those interactions.
So when you mentioned the online reviews are something that's really important for consumers, potential clients, things like that, what about a designer who's brand new, like just doesn't have all of those reviews for someone to research?
Yep. I think you just have to be upfront about it, right? If you're brand new, you're probably selling somebody on, maybe your scrappiness or the amount of attention you're going to be able to pay to their project. And, I think in those cases, somebody who's brand new to the industry is going to sell themselves on other things so that they can work their way up to getting that first review. But I think, being transparent about that, if you're that new to the industry, is important.
Okay. And then my other question was, the importance of being able to see projects with the same kind of style that the homeowners are looking for. I know that there are a lot of designers out there. When I see a project photo of theirs, I know exactly who it belongs to. But then I know that may be kind of putting them into a box a little bit too. How do you suggest that designers, do you suggest that they show all different kinds of work or the work that they're most proud of? Like, how do they get that variety up there so that a potential client will be able to see what they're looking for?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Part of it depends on their own goals and where they are in their career. So, of course, you're right. A good designer can design in any style, and that isn't determinate. However, what we often hear is that, some designers really do have a style that they enjoy doing. And so, if they're far enough along in their career, they're going to post the types of projects that they want more of, because that's going to attract people. If you're very earlier in your career, what I hear most designers do is they'll do a small project, a room for a friend or a family member, and maybe do things in a few different styles, even if they photograph one room, so that they can get that those photographs up and show that they're capable of doing a variety of styles, and again, build up to the portfolio that is at a point where they can really focus on building their brand in a certain way and what they want.
So you mentioned communication as well, that's definitely valuable to homeowners today. And I'm assuming even more so with all of the supply chain issues and the different things that are going on with our industry right now. How would you say designers have been able to kind of improve that communication with their clients during this difficult time?
That's a great question. It's probably a good segue into some of the research that we did on this topic in particular. So, the first part of the study looked at hiring pros, right? And how do you make the decision? But then one of the interesting things we did is we asked homeowners, what is the one thing that would have most improved? And this was, of course, of folks who were in the middle of or had completed a project, but what's the one thing that would have most improved your design or renovation experience? And it was absolutely fascinating. We got, verbatims back from people about what it was, and they fell into a number of buckets, and communication was absolutely one of them. So, better communication regarding delays, being able to see a timeline, knowing start dates would be delayed because of permitting issues. So lots of things around scheduling and improved communication. And what we saw that, designers who were successful with this during the pandemic did a number of things. One, they certainly embraced things like Zoom and online meetings and making that easier. And then they also, used some sort of software that would enable them to actually, right, capture all of their communications with homeowners, so they had everything in one source of truth, or be able to publish a Gantt chart or calendar and give the client a good, get them comfortable with what the timing for the project is. So, a lot of it is really about proactive communication, and not putting it on the homeowner to have to follow up and ask, but really being proactive about it. Even, having a task list with due dates when clients are responsible for making choices and following up on that.
So are you hearing from designers that clients are becoming a little bit more relaxed or educated on what some of these challenges are that are going on right now?
No. In fact, I had lunch yesterday with a designer, and it was so nice to be in person, I have to say. But it was really interesting that I think her feeling about it was that, like, intellectually, people understand that there are these supply chain delays, but they're personally frustrated and they're personally, stressed out after the last couple of years. And so, designers continue to be that therapist or that outlet when they are expressing their frustration about, the unexpected delays, or things that are supposed to come in 12 weeks and then it's delayed another 12 weeks. And so it's still very hard. Like, nobody's easygoing about it. Again, even if they intellectually understand, I think it's still a challenge. So setting those expectations up front, certainly getting them into your terms and conditions on proposals and contracts are super important. And being, having that proactive communication so that, again, you're setting these expectations and pushing this information out, and they're not surprised because they follow up and you say, oh no, it's another 12 weeks, didn't I tell you? All of those things do help.
Yeah, definitely. I have a good friend who is nearing 2 bathroom renovations in his home, and he's been coming to me, to show me his selections. He has hired a designer, and I have just reinforced over and over again, before anything starts with your projects, make sure you have all your selections chosen and ordered and all of that good stuff, so that you do not have no use of your bathroom for more time than you actually thought. So he's lucky he's got a couple of bathrooms in there, so one at a time. But yeah, I was just saying, you need to make sure that you have all that stuff ordered first. So I know that's a big thing.
Yeah. And, understanding client priorities. So I'm actually renovating my daughter's bathroom right now. And, I told my designer, show me what's in stock, show me what we're not going to wait for, because I don't want to, have 90% of it ordered and be waiting 12 weeks on one thing. So, the orders are in, but it's the same thing. It's kind of understanding, is your priority waiting for that special thing, and it's, your master bathroom and the thing you've always been waiting for, or is this a kid's bathroom, and you can be a little bit more pragmatic about it.
Yeah. So outside of, improving communication, providing the online reviews, what are some of the other things industry professionals are doing to adapt potential client needs?
Sure. I think the other thing that we heard from homeowners is that, they continue, and it's one of the reasons, right, how Houzz came into being in the first place. It's hard for homeowners to visualize that end result the way that a designer can do it, can look at a 2D plan and, have a great idea of what it's going to be. So folks said, hey, give me a CAD drawing instead of a hand-drawn drawing, or I wish there was a tool to create a visual of the finished product, some way to visualize it, some way, I would like to feel more confident about the process and outcome. So one of the things that we've been seeing designers embrace, for example, is our 3D floor plan tool, where they can quickly create in an easy way and help those clients see, okay, here's what my renovated kitchen or bathroom is going to look like, for example. Homeowners, again, can't visualize the 2D and 3D. So being able to quickly and inexpensively be able to show them, okay, here's why we want to move this wall, or here's why we want to do some of the upgrades they're recommending, or give you more space, in this area. It's not only a great tool for getting clients more confident and comfortable, but getting them to pull the trigger on a project in the first place, or to sell in, some upsell or upgrade that you want, that you're recommending, to help them really understand the value that they're going to get from it.
That makes sense. So I think part of the research was also finding out what some of the questions are that homeowners will ask when they first meet a design pro. Can you go into some detail on that?
Well, the way that that wasn't directly part of the research. What we typically say to pros is that, you know, when you have a first meeting with a potential client, the questions that they have. So don't wait for the first meeting. Answer those questions on your website, on your Houzz profile, right? Whenever you have the opportunity to engage with somebody online, when they're doing that research, when you're not yet talking to them, try to be proactive and answer those types of questions. So if you always get questions about what's client service going to be like, or how do you stay on budget, being able to put that information, whether it's in your business description or an FAQ or in our philosophy section, is a great way to not only build your brand, but to increase the chance that someone's actually going to reach out.
Okay, so then what are some of the things homeowners are reporting as challenging during their projects?
Yep. So I think probably no surprise, having more financial visibility is definitely one that homeowners said, having a better visibility would have most improved their project. So we had one person say, I would have liked the designer to go through the recommended materials list line by line to explain everything in the quote and to confirm the finishes, getting all the details written out, clear estimates and proposals. So it's obviously a big investment for people, and they get very uncomfortable and often are uncomfortable talking about finances. So definitely, as the industry moves more and more digital, being able to provide digital proposals, having them available in a dashboard, being able to have the details there. And the nice thing about having them online is that homeowners can then refer to them throughout the process. And so they don't necessarily have to text and email you at all hours saying, what was that decision we made? What was that thing I chose? What do I still owe you? Because it's all there in a self-serve way for them to tap into. But that's definitely still a pain point for homeowners. Other things that they've said, more financial transparency. I need a more realistic and complete budget. The finances are stressful, and just easier to see budget and time frame as they change. So again, being able to be proactive and making this easy and accessible is a real confidence builder for homeowners.
So is it challenging for designers to provide that in-depth information on the budget and on all the selections and everything? Like, why is that an issue?
I think that it's an issue because, homeowners are, it doesn't mean that you have to be 100% transparent, right? It's not that they're asking to understand everything about markups and what's the margin that you're making on every product or what your financial model is. But I think it's just about having easy access to have it in a written form. So, it's one of the reasons why we've been, really supporting designers with digital proposals, with the ability to take retainers up front, right? All of it is really about how do you set those expectations. So for example, with Houzz Pro, you can send a proposal and it can include the payment schedule and a request for a retainer upfront so that there aren't any surprises. It's like, look, this is the requirement. We're going to take this money up front. And we often find that designers say they're very uncomfortable talking about money. So being able to put this in a digital format where it's kind of laid out in a professional way, it feels like it takes the pressure off of them for having to have an awkward conversation. It's like, look, it's been laid out professionally. Homeowners react better to when it's laid out in a professional manner than just, I got a note, did I pay? Being able to follow up in a more structured way and having this laid out actually makes it easier on both sides and fewer awkward conversations.
All right, so my last question is kind of just delving into the future in terms of everything we have talked about. What do you see coming for the next year in terms of client professional relationships or just the industry in general?
It's a really great question. I think we're just going to see more folks expecting to be able to use technology as part of their projects. It's what's going to support more of that virtual interaction. And I think, the tools that are available kind of across all of these fronts are only going to get better and easier to use. And you're going to see more and more designers adopt them and move off of pen and paper, or, tools that they're kind of using in a makeshift way to try to solve a problem. And I think there's going to be a greater understanding in the industry that, professionalism, especially for new designers, right? I mean, the biggest challenge is, you said, oh, I don't have reviews or I don't have photos. So what can I do to look as professional as possible when I'm trying to sell in this project? And being able to use a tool that allows you to put together a proposal that looks very professional, right, with your logo and brand, or being able to send an online invoice, or enabling your clients to pay online. All of these things are signals, just like reviews and finished projects, that say, you can trust me, I know what I'm doing, I'm a professional in this industry, right? And it's in all of our best interest that that homeowners have a good experience, and that they look at the industry as, yes, this is a really buttoned up professional group of people.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing this awesome information for our industry pros and the good outlook for, the year to come. And we hope to see you at KBIS in a couple of months.
Yes, you will definitely see me there. I hope to see everyone there. And just a reminder, houzz.com/research is where you can find any of our studies going forward.